Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Mesillas Yesharim. And remember, the Ramchal pointed out yesterday that in order for a person to be a Zahir, to be watchful, they have to learn how to evaluate the actions that they do. The actions that they've done already, they have to examine to make sure that they're along the lines of what Hashem wants. And that's Shaloi B'Shas Maisa, that's when he's not involved in the act. He's sitting there on his bed, going to sleep at night, and he begins thinking to himself everything he did that day. And he asks, was this the right thing? Was that the right thing? And he examines in detail what he's done to make sure that he's going in the right direction. And then, of course, the Ramchal writes, there is B'Shas Maisa at the time, right before a person's about to do an action. He has to discern on the scales of judgment if he should do it or he should not. So he writes the following today, this is something that our sages have informed us when they wrote in the Gemara the following. The Gemara over there in Eruvin has the following discussion. And it says that Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel had an argument for 2.5 years. One side said it's better for a person not to have been created than to have been created. And the other one said it's better that we should have been created than not been created. So the machlekes really was to be or not to be. That is the question. Should we be here or not be here? And for 2.5 years, Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, they went back and forth. You could imagine what their argument was like, how they were fighting it out, and they were bringing proofs from all over. Chazal, the words of our sages, from the Chumash, from the commentators, they brought all the different proofs. Should we be here? Should we not be here? And the Gemara says, after 2.5 years, Nimnu v'gamru, they finally came to their conclusion. And the answer was, better that a person should not have been created than to have been created. But guess what? There's a big problem with that answer, because we are here and we are created. So if a person decides that it's better that we shouldn't be here, so why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in His infinite wisdom, place us here then? What does Hashem want? Obviously, part of this argument is that Hashem wants that our neshama, Tahara, this pure soul that Hashem has given us, that He has imbued us with here in this world, He wants us to return it to its maker after 120 years with the same clean purity that it was when it was given to us at birth. And that, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel concluded, is very difficult. It's nearly impossible. And how could we trust that a person is going to take his neshama in his hands in this world and use it properly and avoid the pitfalls and the schmutz of life over here? And therefore we shouldn't be around. Well, it's too daunting, the challenge that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. But at the end of the day, here we are. So what should we do? So the Gemara answers the following. And it says, V'achshav shenivra. However, now that we are created, obviously that's what Hashem wants. So what are we going to do? Yefashvesh b'maisav, says the Gemara, you should examine your deeds. V'iked amri, there are those who say, Yemashmesh b'maasav, you should feel around in your deeds. So one side says, examine your deeds, and the other one says, Yemashmesh, feel around your deeds. V'tirish shnei l'shon Hashem shtei azharas toivus u'meilas ma'oid. So we see from here that what? That this, which the sages tell us, are two warnings or two pieces of advice of how it is that we're going to help ourselves. What does it mean to examine one's deeds? It means to examine and to look into everything that a person has done already. Will you find in your actions things that you should not be doing? There's things that we do that are not according to the mitzvahs of Hashem or His statutes. And whatever you find that is wrong, whatever you find that you shouldn't be doing, eradicate them. Get rid of them. They don't belong in your world. And so that's one thing. We examine our deeds not at the time that we are doing them. Rather, we begin to understand, are there things that we do that are right, and I'm not going to do them. Says the Ramchal, but mishmush, feeling around, is in the actions that a person does, even the maisim tovim, the good deeds. To really examine and feel deep inside of there, are there things even in the maisim tovim, the good things that I do, that are directed in the wrong place and are not good? Maybe there's something bad, even though it looks like it's good what I'm doing. A person gives tzedakah. They give charity. But you know why they give charity? They give charity because they like all the honor and the fame that comes along with it. They love when they see their name on a building. They love when they see their name as the honoree at this particular banquet. They love when people come over and say, oh, you give so much tzedakah, you're so amazing. That's why they give tzedakah. That's lo tova. That's not good. You give charity because Hashem has given you money and you are a conduit to be able to share that money with other people. Not because what they're going to say about you, not because your name is going to be plastered all over the walls. No. And therefore, in such a case like that, a person would feel the good deed. Tzedakah is an amazing mitzvah. It's incredible. You're helping another person. However, you find a chelik ra, you find a negative measure that's in there, you have to remove it. It's like a person that is feeling around the quality of a garment. He wants to feel, is it good? Is it strong? Or maybe it's weak and it's even ripped. Can you mashmesh b'maisav? So to a person who feels around their actions, he wants to discern what is the techuna, what exactly is the place where this is coming from. What's the essence of this mitzvah? The more that he feels it, the more that he's aware of it. And if he senses anything that is negative, that is bad in there, even in a good deed, he'll remove it and he'll cleanse and make pure his maisim tovim, his good deeds, to make sure that they are in line with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really wants, which is maisim tovim should be for the sake of the deed itself, not for the honor, not for the glory, not for the other things that might come along as a result of it, but rather merely to do Ratzon Hashem, the will of God, and find favor in His eyes. Have a wonderful day. There's much more to discuss on this, and we will continue next week.